Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope you had a good week. About to bump into this weekend. But first, we got some LSU practice notes for you. We'll be breaking down it all. Spring period is over. No more spring practices, but we can sit here and reflect on everything that we had already saw. So we're going to do today. Going to talk about some things that'll look new. I'm going to talk about some transfer portal stuff because yesterday it opened and LSU did lose somebody, but we will reflect on it all. Then at the end of the show, I put together a hell of a ranking list for you. It took me a little bit. I've been in the lab. I've been digging through stats. I've been digging through games. I've been watching film. I've been putting my little coaching hat on. And we're going to rank the top SEC quarterbacks today here for you. So without further ado, any question, any comment, any concern, you know the drill. Put it in the comment. We'll put it on the screen. We'll talk to you. We'll get involved. We'll get active. Hit that thumbs up. We're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. Today was a little bit later. We had to edit the show time a little bit, but you know the drill. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you put them noties on, and anytime we go live, anytime we post a video, anytime we get an update, you can slide right on in there. Let's talk about practice. We went yesterday. We talking about practice? Sorry, I had to popped in my head. But yesterday we went in, final one, like we said. There's a couple of things I want to point out. Let's do our injury report here first. Dominic McKinley. He was MIA. I don't think it's anything major because he's off to the side. He's still out there working out. If it was something big, if it's a big injury, that dude ain't out there. That dude is in street clothes, walking around, not stretching, not with the trainer, but he was with the trainer. It's a good sign. So I think Dominic McKinley will be back. However, that is something I wanted to note to let you know. Might be something to keep an eye on. Caden Durham was still off to the side dealing with that little ankle sprain. Caleb Jackson came in at running back one because of that. And we'll get to a little bit of that later here when we talk about things that you'll see new for LSU this year in terms of offensive balance and just overall creativity. I'll give you a little touch on it now. We were at practice and we saw more receivers in the backfield taking handoff snaps. We saw Aaron Anderson. We saw Xavier Thomas. At times we saw Juwan Johnson. But the overall offensive creativity it's hard to not notice it. They had a doubles formation with Trades Green and Bauer Sharp. The wide receivers in that were Xavier Thomas and Chris Hilton. But all in all, they're trying a lot of things. They're trying two tight ends. They're trying two running backs in the backfield, one of them being a wide receiver. They're trying even putting a damn quarterback out there doing a wildcat type spread. They're trying a lot of things. And I think the more creative you get, the more success you have. Once again, we will touch on that a little later, but stay with me here. Wide receiver rotation-wise, this is what we saw. Chris Hilton, Zay Thomas, Aaron Anderson. That's been the same group, the same trio, if you will, that has rolled out there all spring long. It might not be one of those things that's going to be 100%. Obviously, with spring practice, everything's taken with a grain of salt. Everything you have to be very, very careful with how you're perceiving it because you've got a lot of different chess pieces that have to be kind of like played correctly, especially with the transfer portal window and potentially losing players and all these different pieces. You have to find a way to be able to keep everybody bought in and kind of in suspense a little bit. So the wide receiver rotation could get moved around. It probably will get moved around. The next two names I think that could get thrown into this mix, and I'm not saying they're going to replace one of these guys, Chris, Zay, or Aaron, but it could be a good supplement or a good substitution. Barry Brown, and then obviously Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson, came to LSU from Oklahoma in the transfer portal. He's the biggest wide receiver LSU has on the depth chart. There's been some concerns, at least from the injury standpoint, of him recovering and returning and getting back to his productive ways, I guess, that LSU was hoping for. And you see all the comments. You see all the hates. You got Oklahoma fans dejected in our comments talking about, oh, he's this or he's that. I feel like you never know what you got until you throw him out there, right? LSU's going to have to put him in a situation that benefits him and probably gets him open and gets him in a one-on-one matchup. He can throw the ball down the field to him. He can put his hands up and maul just about anybody. But my point being is I think if he's that big and I think if LSU's in this bit of a vertical challenge aspect of their wide receiver room, he's going to probably find his way on the field. Trades Green's only going to be able to do so much. But we'll have to continue to watch. Wide receiver rotation, definitely not out of the woods yet. But Barry Brown, I mean, look, he's been getting tested a lot in practice. In the little scrimmage period that they had, he took Ashton Stamps deep. Garrett Nussmeier missed him a little bit. Couldn't come down with it. I don't know if Ashton, broke it up or it was kind of tough to tell that side of the coverage. But all in all, point being, Garrett Nussmeier and Barry Brown have been on the same page, been finding each other. They've been growing their chemistry, growing their connection. That's a name I think can slide right into this. Let's talk about another rotation that I think is far from being, complete. Far from the final draft that we'll see when it comes time to week 1 in Clemson. The offensive line, you still got 2 battles left that everybody's paying attention to. It is at right tackle and it is at center. Your center battles is between DJ Chester and Braylon Moore. It begs the question, if one of them, obviously one of them won't get the job, do they move to guard? Are they going to stay in the lineup? Do you completely just get out of the 5-man rotation? Those are one of the things that you're going to have to ask, because as of right now with the rotation, it's Tyree Adams, Paul Mubenga, DJ Chester, Cohen Eccles, Weston Davis. If DJ moves and Braylon comes in, does DJ move in Cohen's spot? It's what I think is more probable. But Weston Davis is even in a position battle. He's battling with Josh Thompson at that right tackle spot. Josh Thompson's the Northwestern transfer at the offensive line room. He's been trying to make his presence felt. And I think Weston is a very good future piece, and I think that he's going to be one of the guys that is going to be in this lineup. I don't know exactly where. They're going to probably have to figure that one out for sure. Josh Thompson played guard a little bit at Northwestern, so I don't know if he's locked at tackle. But there is a lot of growth and a lot of pieces here. I mean, you can even talk about Carius Kern and the strength that you've seen him show off, but there's been a lot of people getting moved in and out. A lot of people getting moved from tackle to guard. A lot of people getting, sorted out just because you want to just see what you got from them in a period where there's not that much at stake. There's not that much at risk. It's spring ball. You're competing against yourself. You're trying to find out, what you can get out of everybody. You're trying to see exactly what type of character profile each player has. And the best way you could do that, quite frankly, is by throwing them in and out of positions. And I know it might sound crazy, but I think there's some merit to it, because if you put them in a situation you've never seen them in, there's a lot of different things that can happen. You can have them, obviously get thrown into a situation they're not comfortable with, and then they grow from that on, because it's not what they were used to. They get pushed out their comfort zone and they grow and they turn better. There's also an aspect where you find chemistry with them, where, even like a wide receiver position, maybe this duo has never been on the field at the same time, but in practice they've been lighting it up and they've been causing a defensive headache because it's tough to guard both of them on the same side. It's things like that you find out in spring that you have to just piece together everything. Let's talk about let's give you a couple more notes from this scrimmage. So Michael Van Buren flashed one down the field to Kylan Billiot, a little bit over, a little bit out of touch, in terms of accuracy. But I think Michael Van Buren, even though you've had moments like this, you do got to keep in mind the situation. Kylan Billiot is a younger wide receiver in the deep second to third rotation. So he doesn't exactly get that many reps with him. Those type of moments, I think, are what a lot of people remember from Michael Van Buren, the him missing this pass or the him missing this little moment. But what I've remembered, or what I've gathered at least from seeing him play, is the amount of room for growth that you have. Everybody wants to see exactly what he's at right now. Oh, he can't get on the field, all this, all that. No, I mean, he's not the starter. The starter's Garrett Nussmeier. However, this is a piece that Brian Kelly, Joe Sloan, and LSU as a whole are trying to put the chips on to build going forward, because there's a lot of things in this college game that you have to do. One of them is run the football extremely well, and LSU was last in the SEC last year in it. Michael Van Buren's one of the more mobile dual-action quarterbacks that you have in the SEC. I feel like this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, you still got Colin Hurley. Obviously, you're still probably going to pull someone out the portal. You'll probably get a big recruit in terms of quarterbacks in the 26 class. There's a lot of things that you can attribute to LSU's quarterback situation being on the rise. But what I've seen from Michael Van Buren and how they're going to, ease him into this and get him comfortable, I feel like the sky's the limit for this kid. Now, I don't think a lot of people are giving him enough credit. Like I said, yeah, he overthrew one a little bit to a wide open receiver over the deep, but it's like the chemistry is not there. He just got here. I'm going to give him some time. People always want quarterbacks to instantly be the guy. It'd be nice. It's tough. It's the toughest position in the toughest conference. You're playing some of the toughest opponents. I can see what happens. One more note on the offensive scrimmage for practice. There was a period where Michael Van Buren and Juwan Johnson were lined up together in the same set. That's a package they're going to love. You saw it on our channel. If you didn't, go back and look at the practice highlights. We got a little clip where Garrett Nussmeier is under center, snaps a little or does a little call, rolls out, runs to the slot. Juwan Johnson comes in the Wildcat formation, and now he's running the football. They love that. They love Juwan Johnson. I love Juwan Johnson. I feel like he's going to get 100% used in this scheme. And it was confusing at first to see why he moved to quarterback. I think that it's going to make more sense as the time goes by. Floby in the chat. Good morning, brother. Talking about Nussmeier. hitting Brown on deep balls this year, burying Brown. Yeah, no, I think that's going to be the theme. I'm not going to lie. Defense did good in spring practice. I'm still a little worried about them. I got something for you. This next segment here, we're going to be talking about things that don't look new for LSU. And is Garrett Nussmeier best quarterback in the SEC? Yes, accuracy still concerns me. We'll talk about that as well. We'll be ranking the SEC quarterbacks here in a few segments. But first, I want to talk to you about what will be different for LSU. What's going to change? Everybody wants to know what is going to change. Are they going to get better? Are they going to get worse? Are they going to grow? Are they going to do this? What's going to happen? Worried about defense, Floby. I think the defense might be the least of the worries. I think the defensive line pressure we've seen has been phenomenal. Yeah, you've hit the portal and got just about everybody you could. Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, Jamari Butler. You got Sidney Mitchell on the inside. You got pieces all over the place from edge to interior. You got a new interior D-line coach. A lot of turnaround has happened for LSU's defense. I think that this is one of the best defensive units Brian Kelly has put together during his time at LSU. If you looked at the transition of the last few years in the defense and the defensive rankings, I believe LSU was the third worst defense in the SEC. And then the year prior with Matt House in his final year, they were the worst. And then the year before, they were the fifth best. So that's a confusing crescendo. You go from fifth to last. It just progressively got worse. But I do think this is one of the best units that you'll see. They've been giving the offensive line hell in spring, and that can go two ways because that's your offensive line. Like, yeah, the D-line's doing good, but they're doing good versus your O-line. So, it's a double-sided sword. However, I think that that's an iron sharpen iron opportunity. I think that that's an opportunity for LSU to be able to understand this is a weak point for the team, the offensive line, and we're going to 100% use the defensive line to boost it up. I think that they're very talented, and you need to get to the quarterback in this day and age. If not, you're going to be sitting there putting your DBs in a tough spot. They're going to be guarding coverage down the field 4 or 5 seconds, and the quarterback's going to be able to prop a lawn chair up in the pocket and just sit there and decipher with a microscope through that defense. The pressure has to come through and get people off their spots, plain and simple. I think LSU's defensive line pressure will be very good this season. Let's talk about depth options. Let's keep it defensive related. At the DB position, you got options. You got more options than you have had in years. Let's talk about last season. You've had safeties that were cross-training, starting at cornerback because you had who you had. And that's the tough part about knowing your starters in spring. There's a double-sided aspect to that as well. Yeah, sure, you got consistency and you know your guys that you're going to roll out there, but you don't got a lot of decisions to be made. You're left with what you had. You're left to your own devices. We only got these two starters. This is a hypothetical situation, but you would only have those two starters because that's all you got that's worth putting out there in the field. It's not always what it's cracked up to be. I think these DB battles and the ability to be able to have this many rotations, it's going to put LSU in a great situation because if this group doesn't work in week 1, they can 100% flip it over on its head at damn near at halftime and have a whole new DB group go out there. Everybody's thinking it's Mansour, Delane, and Ashton Stamps. It could be Mansour and PJ. It could be Mansour and DJ, Mansour and Jakeem. You got a lot of names out there. In the safety room, you got a corner in Javion Toviano who's lighting shit up. Jordan Gilbert's coming back. Deshaun Spears is looking great. Joel Rogers has made his presence felt. Austin Osbury's coming in at the backup star. You got so many names. I'm rattling off names left and right. What about Michael Turner? They got all kind of pieces here. They got Wallace Foster. They got names on names on names. And now, are they all going to play? Are they all going to be elite? Are they all going to be lockdowns? Maybe not. But you have the option. When you have options, you're not handcuffed behind your back sitting there looking, man, I don't know what to pick. I barely got anything to choose from. LSU's not in that point right now. Everybody knows to win a championship, you got to be great on both sides of the football, offense and defense. You can't just score 40 because, unfortunately, we got to watch Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors do that every week and come up short sometimes because in college football, it's not enough to be able to just have a great offense, carry you. Even the best ones in recent memory struggle without a top defense. Now, I think the fact that LSU can put these guys out there, I think it then plays into the defensive line a little bit. Now, I think this is where it becomes complimentary. You heard Brian Kelly say complimentary football. What does that mean, though? That means that both squads, both sides of the ball are going out there helping each other out. They're not going out there just, defense coming out, stopping the ball over and over and over and over, getting turnover on downs over and over and over, and the offense keeps going back out there and punting. or putting the defense right back on the field after a drive. That's not complementary football. You want the offense to slowly, methodically, have a balanced approach and come in with a little bit of runs, a little bit of short passes, a little bit of deep shots. Yeah, one play touchdown's great, but you got to keep in mind those DBs, those D linemen, all those players that just played 11 to 12 plays on that drive, they're back out there huffing and puffing and dreaming of getting on the oxygen tank. The complementary football aspect, I think, it's in its best spot that it's ever been here for LSU. Now, perfect segues, because we're going to talk about offensive balance. That's the last thing I'm going to say that's going to be brand new for LSU this spring. We keep talking about the creativity. We keep talking about all these packages. Here's why it matters. If everybody wants Garrett Nussmeier to throw the deep ball, look, we got Coco Diaz in the chat. Doesn't get much better than a deep ball. We got Floby. Accuracy is concerning me. Guess what, guys? You want to know how to prevent the worries, the concerns, and how to look for the deep ball and get that into your arsenal? You run the ball well, methodically, creatively, to where they don't know what's coming. There's a wide receiver in the backfield, and there's Caden Durham right here. What side do we line up on? If you line up right here trying to stop this wideout from going outside, Caden Durham's coming down the middle and busting you. If you stack the box like this, I'm making the wideout run a route out of the backfield. Now, everybody is worried about what's up front. What's up front? Stack the box, give me pressure, make sure you got corners on the line and their flats, or hell, they might even press. And then guess what? Hey, Chris Hilton, go for 70, dog. Garrett Nussmeier, boom, down the sideline. Berrien Brown, cut a little post route, boom. That's how Nussmeier is going to turn over his expectations to a decent quarterback prospect to the best quarterback prospect. I'm not going to lie. I think you're looking at the best quarterback in the SEC. I think that everybody's attention is going to 100% be focused on to him. Now, you're setting up the defense and just rocking them to sleep like you're crossing them over or something. You're hitting the damn Kyrie Irving size-up package, and you're about to snatch back, boom, Garrett Nussmeier, 70-yard deep ball. You've got to give the defense options to look at, to get confused at, to bite on. You've got to give them bait. It's like fishing. What, you going to throw your bait in the water and just let it sit there and hope a fish comes up and murks it? Nah, bro, you're playing with it a little bit, reeling it in. You might even change the color, bro. You might even have to put on a whole new damn bait. I think this offense is going to have very, very tricky scheme to be able to guard. They're going to have a lot of people biting on hooks. Look at the different schemes that you got. I wrote them all down for you. You've had wide receivers in the backfield. You got the split back sets. You got Juwan Johnson quarterback motioning. All these different things. Let me tell you why a motion makes sense. A lot of people might understand this and might get this concept. If you don't, I'm breaking it down for you right now. You know how when the play's about to start and you see somebody running before the play starts, like Garrett Nussmeier says something, does this, and here comes Aaron Anderson running behind center, going to the other side of the field before the play starts, and then he's already at top speed, kind of. A lot of people are thinking, well, that's just to give him a running start. Partially. It's also to be able to test the coverage. If Garrett Nussmeier sees a 2-high safety, he's got 2 options. If it's not a shell. If it's a shell, it could be a 1-high, 3-high, whatever. They're just disguising it. But at the start of the play, if there's a 2-high safety, you got 2 options. You got to cover 2 or you got to cover 4 quarter. Depending on how those corners are lined up on the outside, if they're a little closer, it's a 2. If they're a little backed up, it's a 4. Where does the motion come into play, though, guys? Here's where it comes into play. If somebody is running pre-snap and somebody's running with them, it's a man coverage play. Your man has to follow you everywhere you go. If Aaron Anderson runs pre-snap for Garrett Nussmeier and someone's running with him, the 2-high now turns into a man coverage, 2-high man, a blitz package potentially. Garrett can pre-snap diagnose a lot of things. If no one runs with him, it's the opposite. It's a zone coverage. Whoever was over him initially can't move because that is his spot. That's his zone. That's his position. LSU's putting Garrett Nussmeier in a spot to 100% diagnose everything before the play starts and have a couple of options to be able to hit. Everybody, I saw someone talk about, oh, he's robotic, he's this, he's that. It don't make sense to me because with the way he's going through his progressions, with the way he's using his head, it's going to be damn hard to be able to tell where he's going. Plus, it's going to be hard to be able to stop it, to be able to prep for it, to be able to potentially prevent it. Because you don't know what's coming. If you're mixing up this many people in the backfield, this many type of offensive play combinations, this type of offensive focus, the defense isn't going to know whether to blitz, send pressure off the edge, drop some people back in coverage and potentially stop a deep ball. They don't know what to do because you got answers for every single adjustment that they have. It's like trying to patch up a new leak, and every single time you patch one up, 2 new ones pop up. You're not keeping no water in the bucket like that, coach. The more you keep them guessing, the harder it is to stop the offense, and that is all there is to it. I think those are the 3 things you'll see new from LSU this season. Hopefully it's a damn good one. Let's talk about the transfer portal real quick because this thing been jumping, y'all. Nico is rumored to be headed to UCLA, and it's not official yet. is nowhere near close to being official. But, you got your rumors, you got your transfer portal murmurs. And here's the funniest one of them all to me. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but the deal that Nico's supposedly going to get at UCLA is worth $1.7 million. At Tennessee, his deal was worth $2.5 million. He's getting an $800,000 pay cut, but keep in mind the tax differences. California taxes are not Tennessee taxes. He's not just losing $800,000. He's going to lose damn near over $1 million. Now, yeah, he's still a millionaire playing college football. So shout out Nico, because that's a fantastic accomplishment. However, whoever's in his camp trying to put him on the same value of certain people and compare and do this and do that, you did him a disservice, because this is not the world of college sports at this point. Is it going to get there? I think so. I think you're really close to it. And if this would have happened a completely different way and Tennessee bent the knee and gave him the money, you probably would have seen more of these moments happen as soon as this offseason. It wasn't going to be the final one, the final, drop in the bucket, so to speak. However, I think he's definitely, even if it's not UCLA, which I think it will be, that's the general consensus here before it's official. If it's not there, I think a team will take a shot on him. I think he's good enough to take a shot on. I don't think he's a horrible quarterback. I just didn't agree with the way that you pushed yourself out in the way that you did. There's a lot of rumors floating that he was disgruntled during the college football playoff run, that he was even thinking about going out then, that phone calls were being made and coaches, blew the whistle and got Heupel involved and let him know what was happening. Whatever the case may be, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's even tougher as a school to be able to try to get him, because at this point, your money's accounted for, bro. It is spring. Everybody on your roster got paid. Everybody in the budget has been planned. Your salary cap, so to speak, is all organized. Your quarterback has gone through a whole entire spring. You did your spring game, whatever the case may be, all the excuses that you want to make. And now you've got to go pull together $2 million to get a new quarterback halfway through your offseason. It's a horrible situation. It obviously didn't work out the way you wanted. Value dropping insanely. Lost, like I said, over $1 million. I mean, bro, you thought you were doubling your contract and you halved it. I don't understand how that happened. Let's give a quick LSU transfer portal update. We talked about Nico a good bit, but LSU, how did they fare? Javen Nicholas entered the portal yesterday, and I talked a little bit about it on Monday. I thought the wide receiver position would potentially see something like that, just because of how many names you saw, how crowded it was, the fact that not everybody's going to be able to get a role here. Javen's a great kid, though. He's a great talent. I think with what we've seen, somebody's going to use him, and he's going to go to a decent school and be able to turn up, because there's a lot of similar situations. I'll use Jack Besh as an example, right? Jack Besh goes to TCU, turns up. He's one of TCU's most dominant options. I mean, he was a good, consistent player. He led LSU in receptions his freshman year, but the room got crowded, and he went to a situation where he was the focal point. Some people don't understand it, but I think when you're making business decisions and when a wide receiver is decided and graded based on targets and receptions and touchdowns and all these things, you need production and you need focus. So for Javen to go to a new school where they're going to focus on him, it's smart. And I don't think anybody would say otherwise. Caleb Jackson, I'm glad it looks like he's going to be staying. I think him popping up as running back one helped a lot, because it helped them kind of tell him, look, if anything were to happen, you're the next guy up. And I don't know if you saw the show on Wednesday, but we're sitting here talking about things are going to happen. It's a running back. You're getting hit over and over and over and over. Look at last year. Caden Durham was running back 4. It was Josh Williams, John Emery, Caleb Jackson, Caden Durham. John goes down. Caleb has an year. Caden gets an opportunity. And against South Carolina, he blows the damn roof off of the joint. Anything can happen. I would stay prepared if I was Caleb Jackson, because you got a lot of talent. I mean, last year you bulk up a little bit. You try to get out of that, first year, big season, and you don't really know how to handle it, quite frankly. And now you're in a situation where you're more experienced. You've been around the block, and I think you know how to handle it. And I think with what we've seen with the conditioning level, with the weight, with everything that you can talk about Caleb Jackson, I think he's addressing a lot of the issues. But it'll be interesting. Let's talk about this SEC quarterback ranking. I put together a really good list for you. I'm not going to lie. We got 6 quarterbacks that I'm going to rank 1 through 6. I'm not ranking every SEC guy. Not doing it. Some of them aren't worth ranking, unfortunately. Let's get to this comment section real quick before we start. Defense did good in spring practice. Still a little worried. Oh, I think we got to that one before. Then we got best defense we've seen in a minute. Perkins and Will Weeks are just chilling, waiting. And then not only that, but you got a lot of other pieces too. Even a depth piece like Akeelah Moses that's just sitting back and waiting. LSU's defense will be ready and loaded. It's about Nico transferring to UCLA. No one else wanted him. Well, hey, nobody wants somebody that's going to walk out, right? That's the main worry. It's a character issue. Let's talk about this SEC quarterback rankings. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of names, a lot of faces. We look through damn near them all. We look through all the film, statistics on statistics on statistics. And I think I'm pretty confident in my list. I don't know how I want to start it. I normally go bottom up. I'm going to change it up for y'all today. We're going to go top to bottom. Number 1, Garrett Nussmeier. I'm sorry. I got to give it to him. There's nobody that has returned in the SEC from last year that was a top quarterback that I expect a lot from. Jalen Milroe, gone. Jackson Dart, gone. Quinn Ewers, gone. Carson Beck, gone. It's a lot of pieces that you're going to have to replace. Now Nico's gone. I think Garrett Nussmeier has most, his biggest quality is the experience, the tenure, the ability to be able to stay, wait your turn, and grind. That's what he brings to the table. He's got the lunch pail work ethic mindset. And I think if you pair that with the amount of weapons that you got, you're going to be able to see fireworks. I told you I got a statistic waiting for you when we were talking about LSU and the run game and this and that. Listen to this. Last year, with LSU having the worst run game in the SEC, last in production, he was 5th in nation in yards, 3rd in completions. And you can't, as a football fan, you can't just sit back and look at what Garrett Nussmeier did and be upset that he wasn't throwing 50-yard plus passes, or he wasn't throwing this, or he wasn't throwing that. He wasn't breaking away and running for 10 yards or 20-plus yards. A lot of people want to scrutinize Garrett Nussmeier for things that I don't think matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to be honest. I don't think it matters if Garrett Nussmeier throws 40 gunslinging passes this season, because what he's doing is trying to put himself in the best situation to succeed. He's not trying to force anything downfield. He's not trying to turn the ball over, and he's not trying to put himself in a situation to hurt the offense. Every single move he's doing is calculated. And I feel like that's going hand in hand with the schemes and the creativity that they are building. With the weapons that you got, plus with the fact that the running game can only get better, you're not going to have to just rely on Nussmeier as much. They put all the pressure, and it wasn't intentional, but the offense put a lot of the pressure on Nussmeier, and he had to create. And Jaden Daniels was able to do it with the running game and all this stuff, but Jaden Daniels is an anomaly. Jaden Daniels is a Heisman quarterback who damn near brought his rookie team in his rookie season to the Super Bowl. He went to the conference championship. He beat the number 1 team in the NFC on the road, back-to-back playoff road game wins. And I know I'm going on a Jaden Daniels tyrant, but I'm just saying, all these LSU fans look at their quarterback and they get upset because it's not what it was. Jaden got compared to Joe. Nuss is getting compared to Jaden. The quarterback after this will get compared to Nuss. Just understand, every quarterback plays differently. Every quarterback brings different things to the table, and every quarterback has their own way. I always use this comparison, and I'll use it again. It's like buying a suit. The first time you bought a suit, it did not look that good. I'm telling you, I'll be the first. You might have thought you looked fly, look good, feel good, play good. It might have been all right. It was probably a little baggy. You probably had to take it to the tailor and get it trimmed a little bit, get it, the length properly made, get it a little tight, stop having it all loose right here. That's like an offense for a quarterback. It was his first year starting. He had to get used to it. He had to get some of the, experience under his belt. And now I think he's more comfortable. And now I think Joe Sloan went into the portal, went into his playbook, and made it accustomed to what Garrett Nussmeier can do. That's what you have to do as a great coach. You don't just stick with what your scheme or your philosophy is and beat it onto your kids. You adjust based off of your team, off of your personnel, off of the players. And I think that LSU did that for Garrett Nussmeier, and everybody's going to see it pay off dividends. Keep in mind, I will say this stat one more time. In the first year starting, Garrett Nussmeier threw for more yards than Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels did in their first year at LSU. It's not saying that Nussmeier is on track to be better. It's just saying that despite it being his first year, despite the lack of a run game, despite all of these things, he still had one of the most successful seasons we've seen an LSU quarterback debut with. He'll only be able to get better. I'm not going to lie. Let's talk about his number 2, Lenore Sellers. South Carolina has a dog. This is the best dual threat quarterback in the nation, straight up. I think Lenore Sellers, LSU fans remember him well, because if he didn't get knocked out that game against LSU last year, a lot of things are going to happen. First, South Carolina is going to beat LSU, more than likely. Second, South Carolina is going to make a college football playoff, because that extra win, especially on an opponent like that, it erases really the only question mark you've had on the Gamecocks all year. How were they not able to close that game? How did they let LSU come back in the second half on the road, big environment, yada, yada, yada? That was hanging over Shane Beamer and company's head all year. Obviously, that with the injury to Lenore Sellers and just him being slowed down, but I think he's one of the best pieces. Yeah, they lost some good options. They lost some players, but I think if he stays healthy, he's an absolute menace. And keep in mind, LSU does play them. They're coming to Tiger Stadium, but we do play them, and they probably want revenge. I'm going to keep that in mind. This ain't going to be an easy game, an easy walk in the park. Number 3, Arch Manning. There's a lot of hype around him. Everybody's got him at number 1. I can't do it. I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback. He is in terms of potential. This is going to be his first big year, and I'm not going to put that billing on him. He's going to have a lot of pressure. It's going to take some time. His first game is against Ohio State. You are playing on the road versus the defending champs. That's going to be a moment where he kind of folds a little bit. And if he comes out and passes for 400, bro, I'm wrong. I'm not going to lie, but I don't think it's happening. I think it's a tough situation to throw a first-year starter in, and we're going to see some things. I'm not going to lie. Big test this year. First year as the guy. Everybody wants to know how he's going to respond. He's obviously going to have pieces around him because nobody's recruiting like Texas. Nobody's getting players out the portal like Texas. Nobody's signing top high school recruits like Texas. So I think Arch is going to have pieces around him, but it'll be interesting to see how he responds to that. He's got the potential in the ceiling, but I'm not going to put him at number 1 because I don't know what he's made of yet. And he's going to have a big test week 1. We'll get to see. Number 4, DJ Lagway from Florida. The man second on this photo to the left. I think, look, when you're coming off a true freshman season like that, oh my God, it's going to be hard to fade you. It's going to be hard to think that you're not going to be able to replicate that. Obviously, the injury happened, but this dude, he's going to age like wine, bro. I'm not going to lie. Let's flash back to the Georgia game real quick. Florida is up on the Bulldogs 10-3, I believe, in the first half, and DJ goes down. They were going to beat Georgia. I'm sorry. If you watch the game, if you're rewatching it, do whatever you got to do. Georgia was in a slump at that point. Carson Beck couldn't get anything going, and there was a few week skid for the Bulldogs right there. He was 6-1 as a starter, DJ Lagway. I really think that game could have been a victory. And he didn't necessarily save Billy Napier's job, but he was one of the biggest pieces in it because now everybody wants to know what Coach Billy is going to do with a guy like DJ Lagway and with some of the pieces that they were able to lock and load with in the portal. DJ Lagway is going to be a hell of a guy. I'm not going to lie. That's what I'm thinking. Number 5, John Mateer. A lot of people probably don't know who that is. I'm going to educate you today. That's the man on the left of this picture. He's coming. Well, actually, no, it's not. Excuse me. But he's coming from Washington State, John Mateer. He transferred to Oklahoma. I got some statistics to read about him. I'm not going to lie. He's got, first off, the same opportunity as Cam Ward. Coming from Washington State, going to a big Power 4, Power 5 program and trying to make his presence felt, boom that draft stock, and get his name called. He had the most total touchdowns in the nation last year. If you don't know about John, this guy, he got wheels, he got an arm, he's got an IQ, and he did play a schedule that was a little weaker. He's in, playing Washington State, and I believe that is it was the Pack, but I don't even know what it turned into now. That's besides the point. Either way, he's a dog. He's an absolute dog. He had 29 passing touchdowns, 15 rushing touchdowns, 44 touchdowns total. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Only quarterback in the country with 20+ and 10+ on the ground. He's got a lot of a potential, and that's a great school to go to. It's a quarterback school, Oklahoma. You ever heard of Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts? They had Dylan Gabriel. Shit, they had Josh Heupel from Tennessee, who holds some of their records still. Oklahoma is the spot. And I think John Mateer is going to turn a lot of heads. Remember that name. That's somebody that no one's talking about this guy. Nobody knows about this guy. He's flying under the radar, and he's lighting shit up through spring. I'm not going to lie. John Mateer is a name to remember. Oklahoma is going to have a guy under center. They're going to have a dog. Like I said, the schedule strength is going to be different. It'll be interesting to watch how that affects his play, if that affects any of the statistics, the production, yada, yada, yada. But he could be a unit. Last but not least, number 6 in the SEC, in my opinion, Marcel Reed, the Texas A&M quarterback that diced LSU up. You didn't get to see a full year from him, so the stats don't really do him justice, but he had 5 games with 60+ rushing yards. I thought that was phenomenal. It's over half of the games that he played in, and he torched LSU on the ground. I mean, look, yeah, you didn't get the game plan for him or whatever the case may be, but it didn't matter, bro. QB spy, butterfly, eagle eye, he man fried it all. It don't matter what was out there. Marcel was juking, getting past everybody. He's going to be somebody to watch. When you got a quarterback that can expand a play that broke down, that makes the defense confused. You could be doing your job, handling business, putting pressure, clamping, putting straps on somebody. You could be putting hands on a wide receiver down the field. And then, holy shit, now John's breaking off. Or, excuse me, now Marcel's breaking off. Look, John Mateer can do it too. But all these mobile quarterbacks are very scary for that reason, because now you're not sure that everything you're putting out there is going to be able to stop them, or that everything that you're putting out there is going to be able to be, felt, because you could be thinking you're scheming their coverage, and then boom, now Marcel Reed's breaking for 40, and then you're putting a quarterback spy trying to fill the box, and now boom, he's throwing a 40-yard ball. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Well, let's hit this comment section. We got our guy JJ in the chat. What up, dude? You see Harlem Berry playing a role this year? Hell yeah, I really do. Coach Kelly said it himself. He talked about how we're going to see him play in his freshman season. And you ain't keeping somebody like that off the field. Not somebody that has the flashiness of, I think, an Alvin Kamara, I'm going to compare him to. It's a good player comp. We saw at the spring game him get active in the short pass game. He got a lot of opportunities. And yeah, Caden Durham wasn't playing, and that's a big part of it. But the same thing I'm preaching for Caleb Jackson will be the same thing I'm preaching for Harlem Berry. Harlem, if you're listening, you got an opportunity coming up. I know you do. Everybody's going to have an opportunity. You just got to stay ready. And when it comes, don't let it blow by you. The running back position, we'll see injuries. We got an injury right now already, and we just got through spring camp. We're not even in June. We're not even in the damn fall period yet. And Caden Durham's already getting treated by a trainer. Stay ready, Harlem, because that name is going to get called. JT Lindsey might even get thrown out there. That's not the only young running back that they got. Let's see. Floby asking about Sam Levitt. Yeah, no. I meant to put John Mateer on there, buddy. Sorry about that. Let's see. Nussmeyer balled out last year. Last 3 games of the season, 29 touchdowns. Yeah, he threw for 4,000 plus too. I think that goes underrated as well. Everybody's critiquing LSU, but they don't understand the situation that they were in. Obviously, new defensive coordinator. You're trying to turn over those pieces. You have to battle some defensive injuries. I mean, Harold Perkins, Jacoby and Guillory went weeks toward the end of the year. There was a lot of problems with that. Even Cy Alexander. But if you're going to be able to return a lot of pieces, get that running game a little better, and the defense turns over a new leaf like I think they will, it's going to be a great season. Arch Manning, talking about him being good, people glazing him is getting out of hand. I know. Everybody has him at number 1. I don't think he's number 1. I think putting him at number 1 will make him less of a number 1. It's too much pressure. And then Mateer, most underrated quarterback in the SEC. He might be the most underrated quarterback in college football. He might be the best guy in college football in terms of making a name for himself. If they had a most improved player award for CFB, that's probably who's going to get it. I ain't going to lie. He's in a great situation, just like Cam Ward was whenever he left Washington State to go to Miami, because now you're in a bigger, focal spot, and you're going to be able to show people, hey, I could do this on a tough schedule. Real quick before we hop out of here, let me give you LSU baseball recap. Yesterday, they beat Alabama, number 15 Alabama, by the way. Beat them 11-6 at home, and oh my Lord, it was close. LSU was trailing. I think it was 5-1, entering the 6th, and they scored 10 runs in the final 3 innings. Shout out to him. Shout out to Ethan Frey. He added a 2-run home run for insurance in the 8th inning, but it all started with Larson. Ashton Larson pinch hit, came in, hit a 3-run shot in the 6th. Monster Milam came in the 7th, hit another 3-run shot. LSU's improving to 33-6, 11-5 in the SEC. They play today at 6 o'clock versus Bama in the box. Go pack that thing out. You got a weekend, beautiful weather, nice sunny. I don't know, it's getting a little hot. UV's up. You can go out there, get your tan on, and you got all the latest LSU information. Now you don't got to worry. Every single thing that's happening for LSU, whether it be football, baseball, transfer portal, we just broke it down for you as well. We gave you a little mini preview. We did it all. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up, please, on your way out. Hit that subscribe button. We will be live Monday at 9 a.m. once again. Stay tuned. We got a lot of content coming up on socials, at Verdin Verdict on Instagram. We got our link to our Facebook. We got our TikTok at Verdin Verdict. We got the whole 9 yards. Even on Twitter. If you're getting your news on Twitter, go follow us. Appreciate all the support. It means a lot. We've been grinding through the spring, but the spring is over. Now we get a little bit of a period where we just go, answer your questions and break down any concerns you may have. So we'll do a mailbag segment. Any questions you want me to talk about, drop them in the chat. I'm reading every comment, every single one. I put my readers on. I'm getting on there late at night, and we're making a list for you to be able to, give y'all some of the insight that you want. So appreciate y'all watching. Enjoy your weekend. This has been the Verdin Verdict, where we bring you sports talk on the go. I'm your guy, Jacob Verdin. Hit that thumbs up for me and enjoy that weekend.